What if I told you the Goonies, the classic adventure movie that we all love, has a surprisingly dark and intense backstory? The kind of thing you wouldn't expect from a PG-rated children's movie these days. Behind all of the fun, the pirate treasure, and the famous chant, Goonies Never Say Die, lies a production history full of twists and bizarre moments that would leave anyone speechless today. Real tears, actual traps, and unscripted reactions on stage. All of it happened during the filming. So hold on tight, because I'm about to take you on a countdown of 12 weird facts about the Goonies. Number 12. The kids never saw the pirate ship before filming. Suppose you're a young actor on the set, surrounded by cameras and lights and crew members, not knowing what's right behind you, when suddenly someone starts counting down. 3, 2, 1, and that's when you turn around, and that's exactly what happened to the cast of the Goonies when they laid eyes on One-Eyed Willie's pirate ship, the Inferno, for the very first time.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Director Richard Donner had kept the enormous ship a complete secret, making sure that it was hidden on the Warner Brothers stage. But why? Well, to catch the cast's authentic reactions for the scene. When the cameras rolled, the kids were told to face away from the giant set piece, and on cue, they turned, and their stunned reactions were priceless. Josh Brolin, who played Brand, was so surprised that he accidentally cursed. It wasn't in the script, and it was so unexpected the crew had to film the scene again. But was it really a surprise for everyone? Well, Sean Astin, who played Mikey, later mentioned during a 40th anniversary panel that he actually saw the ship before filming the scene. He questioned whether the trick of keeping it hidden was really necessary. However, for others, like Martha Plimpton, who played Steph, they confirmed they had not seen it beforehand, making the reactions completely genuine. Number 11. Steven Spielberg banned previews of major sets. The young cast had no idea what the filmmakers were up to, and every step of the production seemed to be calculated, almost as if the set itself was a treasure they were finding in real time. You're walking onto a soundstage, unaware of what's about to appear before your eyes, and that's exactly what happened when the cast finally came face to face with One-Eyed Willie's legendary pirate ship. The director Richard Donner and producer Steven Spielberg had perfectly planned the moment down to the last detail. The young actors were not allowed to see the pirate ship before they began filming. And when they finally walked into the huge cave-like space, their reactions were completely real. It felt less like they were in a movie and more like they discovered a legendary treasure. Surprising them wasn't the goal, though. This was done to make sure the reactions were true and natural, and when they turned the corner and saw the ship the first time, their amazement was genuine instead of merely acting. And that's exactly what the director and producer wanted. Number 10. Most of the yelling is unscripted. Sometimes unscripted acting and reactions create movie magic in ways that nobody expects. Director Richard Donner didn't want overly rehearsed performance, but raw and real energy. And so he encouraged the actors to behave like actual children, and the results were a perfect combination of hilarious and chaotic. The actor who played Data said that the cast often jumped on him. They would scream and laugh together, and it was just wild and fun, just how Richard Donner wanted it. But instead of stopping all the noise and energy, he encouraged the crazy and chaotic atmosphere to happen naturally while filming as well. It made it easier for the cast's real personalities to come through. Jeff Cohen, who played Chunk, became popular for his hilarious and unplanned truffle shuffle. It was so funny, it became super famous. The wild energy on set carried into other scenes with surprising lines, loud shouting, and even a little bit of swearing. Even the famous "Hey You Guys" of Sloth wasn't original to the film, but a nod to another pop culture moment.
Hey you guys!
Despite it all, it became iconic as well. Number 9. Sloth's makeup took over 5 hours a day. For the actor who played Sloth, it was anything but easy. He had to start every single day with 5 hours of intense makeup work just to bring the character to life. But what kind of makeup was it that took 5 hours? You can call it a masterpiece of movie magic. His face was covered in about 15 custom foam latex prosthetic pieces that shaped his crooked jaw, his uneven mouth, and his distinctly misshapen features. In fact, one of his eyes wasn't even real. It was a radio-controlled animatronic that could blink, making it even harder to spot where the actor ended and the character began. This process was so sensitive and detailed that even the slightest mistake would end up ruining hours of work.
So sometimes people call me Chunk.
Director Richard Donner had to warn the child actors not to get John's makeup wet during the water scenes because if it got damaged, they'd have to start over the entire process. And if you thought that was the end of it, removing all of that makeup and prosthetics took an additional 2 hours every single day. That is some serious dedication to the craft. Number 8. The kids were encouraged to improvise insults. When kids are involved in filming, you want to ensure that everything's perfectly scripted so there's no room for mistakes. However, in the Goonies, director Richard Donner took a different approach, and it paid off in the best way possible. Instead of making the cast stick word for word to the script, he encouraged them to improvise their lines during scenes. He wanted the interactions to feel natural, just how actual children would talk to each other. It meant playful insults, quick comebacks, and even chaotic overlaps in dialogue were often completely made up on the spot. One standout example comes from Jeff Cohen, who played Chunk. He shared that Donner specifically told him to ad-lib some scenes, and this inspired Chunk's hilarious on-the-spot jokes and made-up references to wild relatives. Number 7. Astoria locals thought the ship was real and tried to visit. After seeing One-Eyed Willie's Inferno on screen, you might think it was a real pirate ship docked somewhere near Astoria, Oregon. But that epic ship wasn't even close to the Pacific Northwest. Instead, the gigantic set was built on a soundstage in Burbank, California. It was so massive and majestic that you'd think someone would have tried to keep it, but surprisingly, nobody did. It was dismantled after filming had wrapped, yet the thrilling adventure of the Goonies blurred the lines between fiction and reality for both fans and locals. Number 6. Several traps were genuinely dangerous. Placing any kind of dangerous trap, especially when kids are in the cast, may seem like something straight out of a hair-raising adventure story, and that's exactly what makes the Goonies so unforgettable. Much of the movie's thrill comes from the booby traps set by One-Eyed Willie and his pirate crew. Giant boulders crashing down when a wire's triggered, a pit full of sharp spikes opening without warning, and floors collapsing beneath the characters during the eerie bone organ puzzle scene. These traps were carefully constructed props that looked dangerously real. The actors faced real challenges on set, like running ahead of massive falling boulders that were rigged to drop on cue, and if anyone missed their timing, things could have gone wrong very quick. The bone organ puzzle was no less nerve-wracking, having floors that opened into a deep set requiring precise movement from everyone involved. Remarkably, some of the traps were so risky they'd never made it to the film. For example, an intense drowning pool sequence was scrapped because it was just too dangerous to pull off safely.
Get out on that truck. Say goodbye to your little friend.
Number 5. The octopus scene was cut but still referenced. It might be weird there's a reference to a scene that was cut out of the movie. In the Goonies, there was supposed to be an exciting moment where the kids faced off against a giant 32-foot octopus on their way to the treasure, and it was filmed but never made it into the theatrical release. Think of Steph being grabbed by the massive creature.
Who do you think you are anyway? What?
The group panicking, and then Data heroically stepping up with his Walkman. He stuffed it into the octopus's mouth, played a song called 8 Arms to Hold You, which made the octopus freak out and retreat. It sounds pretty wild, but why wasn't this epic battle in the final cut? According to filmmakers, the animatronic octopus looked awkward and hokey and slowed the pace of the story during a critical moment. Still, though, the reference to it stayed in the film, with Data mentioning how the octopus was very scary during the film's closing scenes. The one line left the viewers questioning, did we actually miss something crazy? Number 4. The kids were kept together offset to preserve chemistry. Behind the scenes, something magical was taking place. While filming, the cast had spent 5 months together, and during that time, they became a family. Between takes, they would hang out, joke around, and genuinely have fun, building friendships that felt as real off the screen as they did on it. Corey Feldman, the actor behind Mouth, often looked back on how everyone kept each other entertained on set, turning what could have been just another job into a shared adventure.
An ordinary adventure here, ordinary fantasy. Nothing extraordinary happens in this picture at all. These kids are all kind of like friends.
Ke Huy Quan even described the experience as living out every kid's dream, bonding over wild fun, laughter, and endless creativity. Director Richard Donner encouraged them to bring their real personalities into their roles, which added to the loose and natural chemistry that the characters shared. Number 3. The movie's chaos mirrored the cast's energy. The chaos on the set was real, raw, and completely unstoppable. The young cast was energetic, constantly yelling, laughing, and even talking over each other, just like real children do on a wild adventure. This was exactly what the director wanted. Instead of quieting the noise or reining in their excitement, he embraced it, allowing their natural energy to breathe life into the film. Scenes crackled with overlapping dialogue and spontaneous moments because Donner understood that these unscripted bursts made everything feel real and alive. Ke Huy Quan revealed that their enthusiasm often pushed Donner to his limits. The kids would jump around, shout, and sometimes send the director to the edge of frustration. However, it didn't stop them. They were allowed to act like themselves, and that's exactly what gave the movie its signature charm. Behind the camera, the atmosphere was just as unpredictable as the scenes on screen, with pranks and playful chaos ruling the set.
When you break the script down with a creative group that I got like this, I've got from Mike Riva doing the sets and Nick McLean on camera and this wonderful crazy group of kids and Spielberg looking over my shoulder.
Number 2. You can't remake the movie, and that's the point. It may be weird, but it is real. You just can't remake the Goonies. The original cast and creators believed that trying to recreate the magic would only end in disaster. Corey Feldman has said it loud and clear that remakes often ruin what made the original special. He thinks a modern-day sequel, like what was done with Top Gun, would be a better path. Why? Because the original is a moment in time. The charm of the Goonies is tied to the 80s. It was a time when children explored their neighborhoods freely, imagined treasure maps without smartphones, and created adventures without digital distraction. That sense of freedom and creativity is nearly impossible to replicate now, with how much technology and parenting norms have changed. Even the original filmmakers like Richard Donner and Steven Spielberg spent years trying to find a worthy follow-up, but they just couldn't do it. They knew the fans held the story to impossibly high standards, and now, with Donner's passing in 2021, the chances of revisiting the Goonies with the same heart and vision seem even more slim. So, you just have to accept it. The Goonies is a nostalgic time capsule, and its cultural value makes it sacred to fans. Messing with it would feel like messing with a piece of their own childhood. Sometimes legends are best left untouched, and for the Goonies, that's part of what keeps that magic alive. Number 1. Spielberg surprised the cast with a celebration at the end of filming. When director Richard Donner wrapped up filming The Goonies in 1985, he probably thought his hard work was finally behind him. Exhausted from months of working with the lively young cast, he then went off to Hawaii for a well-earned vacation. However, what he didn't know was that the producer Steven Spielberg had a surprise in store that would top even the most adventurous scenes from the film. Spielberg secretly flew most of the cast out to Hawaii to pull off an unforgettable prank. Now, be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another great video like this one. If you have any recommendations, let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.